Hello and welcome. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make these little 4-patch squares for quilts. Here we go. I'm going to show you how to make just 2 in this video, but obviously you can make more, and if you make more you can make them into something like this, which will probably eventually turn out to be a cushion cover or a little table mat. I'm not sure yet. Anyway, let's get started. To make your 4-patch, you need to start with 2 squares of fabric, 2 different squares of fabric, so you get 2 different colours. And this is what they should turn out like. I'm using squares from a charm pack, so they're 5 inches by 5 inches. The charm pack has 42 5-inch squares, and there are 7 different colours, and so we have 6 of each different colour. And I'm just using a few of them today. So I have chosen this lovely bird fabric for one of my pieces, and then I have a mustard coloured piece for the other. It also has birds on it, so I thought they'd go quite well together, the 2 colours. So first, place your 2 pieces right sides facing together, and make sure you've got them the right way up as well. And very carefully match up the sides. It's a little bit tricky with these ones that have been cut with pinking shears. I prefer the straight cut ones, but this is what I've got, so this is what we're using. So pin both of the sides, the left side and the right side, and then we're going to sew down each side where we've put the pins, taking a 1/4 inch seam. I've threaded my sewing machine up with a grey thread because it pretty much matches with anything, and I've also put my 1/4 inch foot on the sewing machine so I can be very sure that I've actually got a 1/4 inch seam allowance, because it is rather tricky to get a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I find it quite easy with this 1/4 inch foot. So I sew all the way down one side. We don't need to back tack when we're quilting, so just sew straight down, no need to back tack. When we get to the bottom, just lift your presser foot, of course lift your needle as well, and cut your thread, and then we're going to sew back down the other side, again taking our 1/4 inch seam allowance. Then trim off any tail ends of thread. And I like to place my square on my mat so it's nice and level with the squares on my mat. As you can see there, it's filling up 5 squares across and 5 squares up, and then I'm going to cut it in half down the centre in the same direction as our seams go. So measure up 2.5 inches, and I like to level it up with both the sides and the bottom of my ruler, and then do a nice clean cut down the centre. Close your rotary cutter, and then you should have 2 strips joined together, just like this. Next you need to set the seams and then press the seams open. To set the seam with your 2 pieces closed and the seam unopened, press gently for about 5 seconds, and do the same to both of these pieces. This sets the seam, it basically sinks the stitches inside the seam, making it easier for you to then press. Press both of your seams towards the darker fabric. This is the blue turquoisey colour with the birds fabric in my case, so press them both in that direction. Remember, when we're pressing, we're just holding the iron down, we don't move it about. And do exactly the same to the other piece. Press the seam towards the darker, the blue fabric. Now that we've pressed our 2 pieces, we're going to join them together. So this time we want our seams that we've already made going across, so they're going to be running horizontally, and we're going to join them. And you'll notice that we have one seam going one way, one the other, so we can nest them together. This is called nesting, and they should fit nicely together. When I've got them in position, I'm going to put a pin in to keep those centres in place, because the centre is the most important place. We must get that nice and level. There we go, put a pin in it, and then we'll do exactly the same to the other side. Make sure we match those centres up, and again, one seam goes one way, the other seam goes the other way, so they nest together nicely, and you won't have too much bulk in one place. Next, sew down both sides. So again, taking a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew down both of the sides. So sew down one side first, no need to back tack. Keep your pin in position as long as you can. At the last minute, you're going to take that pin out, very carefully sew over that join and carry on all the way down to the end. Then turn around and sew back down the other side in exactly the same way, taking a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Place on your cutting mat with your 2 new seams to the right and left hand sides, and I try and place it matching up with the squares on my cutting mat. You'll have 5 across the top but only 4.5 going down now, and that's exactly how it should be. So measure 2.5 inches from one side, matching it up at the side and top and bottom with your quilter's ruler, and then do a nice clean cut straight down the centre, and then open both of them out, and there you have 2 4-patch blocks. All you need to do now is iron that centre seam. Place on an ironing board or ironing mat and close them so the seams are flat, so you can set the seams. So set both of the seams. So open them out and then finger press the seams open. I'm pressing the seams, both of the seams up on this one. And there's the first one done. And then the second one, again, set the seam. I think I've already set the seams, but never mind. Set the seams, open it out with the seam going up, and then press. Remember, when we're pressing, we're just holding the iron down. No need to move it around. Just hold it down for a few seconds. And then that's done. And that's how you make an easy 4-patch square. Or you can make as many as you like. And you can arrange them in any order you'd like. They're quite versatile. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please like and subscribe to my channel? Thank you, and I'll see you next time.